Welcome to the Not Your Mama's Gamer video blog. This is me, Samantha Blackman, one of your co hosts, and I'm joined today by Alex Lane,
Hello.
another of our co hosts. And today we wanted to talk a bit about Shadows of the Damned. And I'll tell you a bit about how we came to play this game. I had heard all these great things about Shadows of the Dam, how it was a game that had great gameplay but never sold well. And I had personally never played it. So I finally got around to kind of my pile of shamey kind of thing, and popped in or picked up Shadows of the Damned. When I picked it up, I didn't have time to play it right away. So I passed it to Alex, and she played it first. And I have to tell this story because yeah, so Alex plays this game and she's playing it for hours, and then she hands it back to me after a couple of days, and she goes, "This is an awesome game. You're gonna love it."
You are just gonna love it, Sam.
So I took it home and I started to play it. And then I immediately sent her a text message about how I was going to basically disembowel her.
Like, what is wrong with you? How did you not warn me about this?
How can you not warn me about this game? What we're going to do is kind of take a look at the introduction and some of the early gameplay, because that in and of itself gives you a pretty good feel for the game. So what we're watching now is actually kind of the opening cinematic of Garcia Hotspur, who is our resident demon killer. And he is kind of doing away or about to do away at this point with our initial demon. Yeah.
Fuck you!
So that is that. And the game is pretty interesting because we have Garcia Hotspur, who is a demon killer, and has at this point kind of seemingly done away with quite a number of demons. And now he's going to look for his girlfriend Paula.
This is right away at the beginning of the game, so you're not getting this scene embedded halfway through or anything like that. This is within the first probably 10-15 minutes of gameplay.
Easy. Yeah. So he goes and he finds Paula hanging, which is clearly the handiwork of the demons that are coming to seek vengeance for the loss of their demonic brethren.
He's a demon killer, if you haven't gotten that by this point.
Yeah, and clearly she is not.
Oh no, she's alive!
Yeah. And it's really interesting the way she is actually kind of giving birth, in a monstrous way, of course, to demons. You know, that thing that he must kill. I sped this up a little bit because, hey, you don't really need to see us shoot demons. Yeah, and that wasn't on purpose, all the groin shots. It just happened that way.
Well, that's your... Sam was watching me play for a while and was making fun of me because I kept shooting the demons in the groin. First of all, they kind of deserve it. Second of all, when you like go up to aim, it's just automatically at the groin, I think.
Oh,
So,
here's our very fun gang rape scene. Yeah. Because
you can just imagine what's happening behind that door now.
Garcia to the rescue. And
Remember, the demons just came out of her back now.
so he's dispersed with the underling demons. And now we have Fleming, who is the demon god of sorts, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely the antagonist of this game.
And there is no question about what is being implied here with Fleming and poor Paula.
Especially like that motion, it's very clear and sort of like her positioning on his body.
Oh, demon hunter. Your bullets
And
have
of course,
no
his bullets have
bite,
no bite, no penetration. Yeah, none.
This is one of my favorite parts coming up here.
The sexual innuendo here with penetration and thrust and all the other fun stuff.
That was just the appetizer.
But what I think is interesting is like it gives you it's so over the top. It gives you the feeling like it might be a parody or something, but I don't think it is because you can't keep that level throughout the entire game without like obviously making fun of it if you're trying to make a parody, right?
Right, I think so. I mean,
Because that's what some people first thought when we played this in class also, and people are like, is this a joke? but I don't think, like, I think they're taking the sort of right things that this type of game usually doesn't and making it hyperbolic, but I don't think they're making fun.
And this point is really kind of interesting because Fleming goes, I'll give you your girlfriend back unscathed if you just admit that your endowments are less than mine.
So basically, if you can say you have a smaller penis than me, then I'll let your girlfriend go alive, fine.
But that's a no. That's a no for Garcia. He can't admit that his endowments are less than the demons, because that would be admitting that he was, I suppose, less of a man, and you can't do that to save your girlfriend from a life, an afterlife in hell. Yeah, yeah. Some things are more important. Your manhood being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and this is also one of the amusing parts for me is that so Fleming's on the way back to hell, or the underworld with Paula in tow. She's got a lot of dying to do and coming back to life and dying some more. The lines in this are so absolutely awful that they're amusing to say the very least, in a very rude way.
I would be really surprised to find if they had even one female writer or designer on this, because somebody would be like, really, this is just stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and it's horrible because of course he's been running around shirtless the whole time, but he's going to hell, so he has to grab his jacket.
Yeah, he goes and gets his leather jacket to go to hell. It's cold down there, man. Here he goes.
Anyway, so he falls into the underworld, and of course there is Johnson. Johnson, who is the demon who has been kicked out of the kind of demonic club, and has no spine, has no body. Is just kind of this head with some kind of I don't know. He has no spine, so he's just a floating head that can become a weapon, as well as a number of other things.
The type of weapons that he becomes are quite suggestive also.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a kind of scepter kind of thing who's giving light, but he's also, it's interesting that, because he's been kicked out of the kind of demon core, he now helps the demon hunter. And now he becomes the very phallic motorcycle, which is really interesting because
motorcycles are so phallic anyway. But like, look what they did with the demon head on this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because it reminds me of the movie Alien.
Yeah, it kind of does look like the alien head.
That of course, remember the demon, the alien head penetrates the body in the film, and this of course is Johnson as well.
It's sort of suggestive too with the demons coming out of her body.
Yeah, that she gives birth. It is much like the Alien film because Sigourney Weaver gives birth to aliens in the film. She becomes the alien mother. Even early on, before she actually physically gives birth to them, she mothers them in some way. She starts to mother. She mothers the child that is found, and then later becomes the punisher for the demons in a very maternal kind of way.
Someone was asking me how often there are Hispanic protagonists in games. So I was wondering if you knew anything about that.
Well, we've had these. We've had like Call of Juarez. We've had looking at the cover for the other one, it's red. I can't remember the other one. So we've had a couple. But they're usually really stereotypical. It was where
like
you
the
have
machismo.
Definitely machismo going on. You have, and then even the moves that you have in games that involve fighting, or like these spicy burrito moves. They actually call them these. So we have these interesting things, and here we have Garcia fucking Hotspur, who is the epitome of machismo. He is the physical manifestation of machismo, because he himself cannot admit that his endowments are smaller than Fleming's in order to save his girlfriend, who is, interestingly enough, a white blonde woman.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
In order to save her, he can't admit these things. So he takes machismo to a whole new level. He won't admit it, but he will go to hell and back to save her.
Don't let all that
Right.
peace and quiet push you around.
So
Is
now
it really about her though? Because it seems like he just really wants to slay some demons, and now he's been sort of insulted by Fleming,
right, and it's absolutely it's all about saving face, and it's all about
Sure.
his machismo.
Johnson,
Right
what the
here we
hell
have
is
another
that?
penis reference,
Holy
right?
cow!
Holy
I don't
cow!
believe
I
it.
don't believe it.
Willie! That's
It's
One-Eyed
One-Eyed
Willie.
Willie.
One-eyed Willie.
Yeah. So we have yet another
Friend of
reference
yours?
to
Are you kidding?
to
William is my
penises
aunt's first husband's
early
adopted
on.
son from the
Um,
Then you're
I just don't
practically
understand,
brothers.
like there's nothing inherently wrong with referencing a penis, sure, but like what is the point of that in the story? You know what I
The
mean?
Underworld be a
Like
shadowy
this
place.
has the story of going down to
Anyway,
hell and
not a
saving your
problem.
girlfriend has
Take a look
nothing to
over
do
there.
with
You see that lamp?
Hanging
was
on the wall.
being surrounded by
I can light
penises.
that
being
up.
surrounded by penises all the time,
Light
right?
shot, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
So,
pretty
give it
much.
a
I
try.
don't
Gene.
understand what the point of the story element is.
I guess it's a reminder to him of what's actually probably happening to his girlfriend, since this is what
There.
Fleming has
Did I
implied
brighten you
anyway.
again?
What can I say?
And the
You are
jokes,
right tool
the
for every
jokes
job.
are so bad.
Even though I
I
get
mean
to light up some
I think they're
demons.
I'm
intentionally
sure you'll have
bad.
your chance. They hate my
The
light
just
shot.
kind of regular
He's a
jokes,
nasty
but that
boy.
doesn't stop. I mean, they're so bad that they're funny, is what I meant to
Demons are
say.
not very
But
talkative.
that
What have they
doesn't
got to talk
stop
about?
the
Once your
kind
soul
of
rolls into town, that's it. You're
constant
damned. And Fleming doesn't let anybody off the hook.
He sounds like a real dick.
penis
Taylor.
jokes and kind of implied misogyny from being offensive, right? I mean, and even when he opens the door, it's like,
But I think there's like it's not like it's either offensive or it's funny. Like sometimes it's so offensive, like
Johnson,
you have to laugh
why is
because
there
you
a
can't
goat head
believe
hanging on
anybody
the
would
wall?
ever
Oh, well,
like
everybody knows
publish
that
that,
goats are
right?
a
Like
source
that
of
went
light.
through several iterations. Several people read that and
course.
watched that, and no one was like, "This is ridiculous."
several hundred people.
Several hundred
I mean,
people.
you've got designers, developers, writers, testers. You've got
Probably beta players.
you've got beta players, and nobody said, okay, this is too freaking offensive, right? And here's one of the really interesting things, because here we have kind of the baby demon on the door, because all demons have to spend, what did he say, a couple hundred years. In this kind of position, but it's a baby demon. So we were trying to figure out why would a baby be in hell, right? So traditionally, when babies go to hell, would they be aborted fetuses and unbaptized babies, which is equally offensive, and very Judeo-Christian. But I guess that's to be expected if we're going to talk about stereotypes, culture, and Garcia fucking Hotspur, who is Hispanic in origin.
What is the deal with the strawberry? I don't get it.
It's I don't know what the deal with the implication
do I
is. The
take
strawberry
the
was just a
strawberry?
fruit.
Yes,
It's a
Gene,
thing that
excuse me
soothes
for having a little
demons
fruit
because they like it.
fantasy.
It's like demon candy.
I don't. I mean, yeah, I see the purpose of it, but I don't understand why a strawberry.
Why a strawberry? I don't know. I was thinking about if they were going to continue with the equally offensive references throughout, what other fruit they could have used. There were several I would have chosen, but I'm not gonna play into that.
Well, I guess this is why is maybe not the best question to ask with this game. Can we say though too that like
don't you
throughout
dare
this,
give my
the
strawberry to
gameplay,
that
like the
sprite on
actual
the door.
mechanics of shooting and fighting demons is
Gee,
really
very
fun.
squanderer.
It is. I mean, it was a good game. It was a solid game, solid gameplay. I would definitely have played this game and been happy
At
with
least
it
there's one
if it
good
hadn't
thing
been
about
for
the
the
Underworld.
constant
Liver damage.
penis
That's the
jokes
beauty of
and
it. In
kind
the
of
Underworld, you don't
misogynistic
die from drugs.
references
They
and the
unkill
rape
people.
imagery, and I mean just the stuff that just runs rampant through this game.
It's just so in your face all the time. Like we've played some pretty offensive games over, your
Your-
10 years experience, my 5 years. Yeah, right.
Like my 10 years of gameplay, yeah.
Uh-huh.
More like
Over
30 years of
over your
gameplay.
30 years. And like I mean, a lot of times you can sort of like keep playing the game and just sort of notice that and then talk about that. But like this is so pervasive. It's like, oh yeah, I can't even play this,
Yeah, there are some, like I said, there's only been one or two games that have been so offensive to me that I have had to stop playing. And this one actually
Why is it suddenly getting
did
dark?
something that,
This is
for example,
ordinary
Red Dead
darkness.
didn't make me do. Red Dead actually hit me in a very visceral way because it wasn't so. This is so sexist and misogynistic and racist at points that it is ridiculous. It was a lot more subtle in Red Dead, which made it a lot more real
There's
for
the
me.
flaccid.
The flaccid penis, yeah, because he takes his light shot, and of course Johnson goes flaccid and then is erect again. But this one, like I said, was so ridiculous that I couldn't take it seriously. Red Dead hit me in a really visceral way. And it made me stop playing. This one made me go, I gotta say something about this.
Yeah.
Which is a little different.
Well, I think that the thing that bothers me about the Red Dead stuff, and the same with a few other games, is that when the sexism and racism and stuff is peripheral, that it seems like the game is suggesting that that's just sort of like the world, that's the way it is, that's normal. Whereas like with this, you can't possibly think this is normal, right?
Right.
Or okay, or something, whatever. But like the rape scene in Red Dead that we've talked about a bunch of times, or even like that Harley Quinn
rape reference in Batman Arkham Asylum,
right.
And then even like the constant bitch in Catwoman in Arkham City, right? Those are offensive.
Yeah, it's the things that I think the things that upset me more are the things that you're supposed to just see as being like, yep, women bitch, that's the way it is. Whereas like with this,
it's a totally different animal, completely different animal.
Very much.
The door.
So we're coming down to the end of this clip, and this is pretty interesting because this is when we come to a different kind of demon. It was our darkness demon. You have to burn away the darkness before you can kill the demon. And you get to see some of the things that we've been talking about and building upon in the clip before. This is some of the mechanics of the game. Like we've said, which is actually a solid game. It's a solid survival horror game. We get to see the different kinds of weapons. We go from here's the Johnson stick that you can actually use to beat demons, and then you have the boner, which is your regular weapon. And then
Actually called the boner.
It's actually called the boner, yeah. And then the monocussioner, which is a penis-shaped, here it is, rifle.
That's the monocussioner.
That's the monocussioner that you can actually is a one-shot rifle, yeah. And here I'm just trying to get the damn thing to kill me, and he won't, so that I can end the clip. So that's about it. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Game on.
Game on.